The federal government of Nigeria is proposing to borrow more than 11 trillion naira to finance the proposed 2023 budget deficit under one scenario, a development far above the stipulated threshold in the Fiscal Responsibility Act. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, made the comment when she appeared before the House Committee on Finance to defend the 2023 to 2025 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper. She says the government's budget deficit is expected to exceed 12.4 trillion if the federal government keeps petrol subsidies for the entire 2023 fiscal year. She also says the crude oil production crisis and PMS subsidy deductions by the NNPC make a significant threat to the achievements of the nation's revenue growth targets.
Slide number 10 is a report on the oil revenue performance. The gross oil and gas federation revenue for the full year 2022 was projected at 9.37 trillion. As at April, what was generated was 1.23 trillion, and this is as at April. And this is against what should have been generated at 3.12 trillion by April, representing a mere 39% oil and gas revenue performance. Despite higher oil prices, oil revenue has been underperforming due to the significant lower oil production shortfalls. And the main reasons, as I reported earlier on, had to do with pipeline vandalization and theft, and also which has resulted in oil production shortfalls by most of the major oil-producing entities.
All right, some really staggering numbers that we're going to get into here. And who best to take us through this? Arise business analyst Chika Mbonu. Chika, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Morning.
You've been on this matter for years.
Morning. I mean, about more than 2 years ago, I told you we're a broke country. And when I said it, and I remember you shot that and was, Chika, I hope Chika knows what he's talking about. You know, we've been broke for some time now, and then we have been peppered it over with, dramatics.
Ah, gosh.
You know, what was that novel? It says, what good news can come out of Nigeria?
Right.
You know, what good news can come out? That's nothing. You know, I mean, everything about it's like when we were, I think it's primary school or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, those days when they're calling the result. And they used to write it by hand. You know, long, the class of maybe 60, they would write it like that.
Yeah.
And then when I followed one of my friends to go and check the result, the teacher started checking from the bottom. You know, they arranged it first, second, third. The teacher started moving off from the bottom. And they said, why are you? He said, I know where you will be. I know where you will be.
Oh my gosh.
You know, Nigeria will know where we will be.
These numbers. Let's put these numbers up because
looking at the Minister for Finance.
She looks tired.
Listen now, it reminds me of, there's a lot of people, this is a football season. You know, like first half like this, they were beating you 5-0. And football match is supposed to be 90 minutes. You just want the match to end in the first half.
Okay, I think I was Liverpool and Bournemouth. Yeah, the 9-0 result. Yeah.
If the referee just said end the match, you just say thank you.
Bournemouth fired their manager, Chika. They fired him.
Already.
Yeah, Scott Parker has been fired. He's the first manager in the Premier League to be fired for bad performance.
The Minister of Finance is, how are the mighty fallen? This is the lady that used to tell us, a problem is not, revenue, is what has this debt.
Yeah.
It's just revenue something, who can borrow anything, want to borrow. You hear her now,
revenues are not meeting up.
2023, we shall have literally have no state-funded capital projects.
Capital projects, yeah.
A whole nation.
That is shocking, Chika.
A whole
that is
nation.
Enough to...
A whole nation. Where do we begin to look at this? So let me push back to the how we review budget.
Yeah.
I mean, budgets, whether it's for a church, a mosque, or for a financial institution, or for a telecom company, it's a World Bank, ADB, it's the same thing. Basically, what do you want to do either in the short term or the medium term?
Yeah.
On what basis are you doing that? Basically, budget assumptions. And then you ask yourself, well, are there any precedent? that will lead into the future.
Yeah.
That will tell you, how, the future will be. And the future normally portends, the historical portends the future.
Yes.
It's really in budgeting.
Uh-huh.
And the other thing that comes to budgeting also is a budget is useless if it's not monitored. Monitored. So
Yeah.
the first thing to look at again is the historical. And then a budget is as good as assumptions.
Yeah.
So Nigeria historically, at least in the last 5-7 years, we have been so good in making the budget projections. However, expenditure will be more than 100% achieved.
Yeah.
And then revenues will be less than 50% achieved. And so the budgeted deficit will always be doubled.
Exactly. On the revenues.
So let's look at this budget now.
Yeah.
Do recall that in June or so, the government came out with the performance of the 2022 budget.
Yes.
That's the only thing we've had so far. Up to April,
Yeah.
maybe the first 4 months of the year.
Yeah.
And then what we found out was the fact that the deficit was about 3.09 trillion.
Yeah.
For 4 months of the year. Now, if you multiply by 3,
Yeah.
that's more than 10
trillion.
10 trillion.
Yeah.
So we anticipate, and a lot of analysts said from the beginning of the year that the real deficit for this 2022 will be 10 trillion.
Wow.
So that's even the starting point. Compared to the one that this budget has said. They said now the 12 trillion deficit.
Yeah.
Already we believe that 2022 deficit will be about at least 10 trillion. So it tells you again that this budget of 2023 they're projecting is what? It's going to be almost double that.
Thank you. So yes, so they could be understated.
Because of the fact that, as World Bank and some other people said, it's a business as usual thing. The government has always been doing business as usual. When you're broke,
you have to
take some massive decisions.
Yeah.
Now, the irony of it is that you hear her say something like, we need to take bold, decisive,
decisions
and urgent actions.
Yeah.
You hear her say that?
Of course.
Now, so what are those in this budget?
Right. Well, remove subsidies. One. You can
you
take
get a point now?
Yeah, of course.
Now she's going to have to do scenario A, subsidy to half year, and then subsidy to full year.
Yeah.
So what are these bold, decisive actions?
Right. They need to lay that out.
She's supposed to put that out. And so we're hemorrhaging, we're losing money.
Yeah.
And so, why do I analyze this budget? Okay. Even with compliance with the laws of the country.
The Fiscal Responsibility Act.
The Fiscal Responsibility Act says that it should not be more than 3% of the GDP.
Right.
Unless there's a clear and present danger.
And the irony is that the subsidies that you're paying has become the clear and present danger that allows you to breach the act. It is just incredibly ironic. Gosh.
Are you following me?
Yes.
And and then at the end of the day, I still blame our members of the House
for approving
for
all
these budgets,
the borrowing.
All the borrowings, not even all the budgets without holding people accountable.
Right.
The budget is meaningless if it's not tested, it's not monitored. Now, see, go and put the 2022 budget speech there and put this at 2023 budget speech, same thing. Oh, we'll get it from MDS. We'll ensure that MDS
there's a revenue. There's a breakdown where they say they will sell assets.
We shall. It's same thing.
No difference.
So what have they done?
Right.
In 2022.
Exactly.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Privatization proceeds will be this.
Yeah, see.
Sale of national assets will be this.
206 billion. 1.7 trillion for multilateral project-tied loans. But we haven't.
You just wrote /5 copy. Right. Just copy and just paste.
And paste into the new
year. Bold, decisive, and urgent actions. So it's a tragedy. Borrowing. Now, borrowing.
Look at that, 9.3 trillion.
Borrowing. Let's even see the result of 2022. You will see where we are. That this 2023 has to be doubled, the deficit and everything. Assumptions. Look at assumptions now.
Yeah.
Oil at 1.69 million barrels a day.
Yes, yes.
Inflation at
17%.
What is it now?
It's 19.
Almost 30%.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there anything? Okay, then
Exchange
GDP,
rates of
exchange rate
435.
at 4,
35.
435.
Yeah.
Again, if they move exchange rates up a little,
They bring in
we'll have more revenues.
exactly coming into government.
So
yeah.
bold, decisive
decisions.
Urgent actions. There's so many of them that we should take to make that we to make things a little more interesting. Inflation at 17.6%. What inflation now?
It's 90, almost 20.
Exchange rate at that, expenditure, and then there's no capital. There may be no capital expenditure.
The threats. She talked about oil. What is it now? She said NNPC deduction from the Federation accounts is a threat. Oil through theft. You've been talking about oil theft for quite a while. Yeah.
On this program, I just said, who is profiting from this? Why is the state, like the country, just quiet? Minister Silva, who is the Minister for Petroleum, will come and lament, cry more than the bereaved. We have so many billions spent on security, yet some people are shaving our heads. Stealing our oil, just raw. Chevron MD said organized crime. Shell MD said this organized crime, and nothing was being done.
It's really incredible.
So threats to the budget include, as you said already, the oil revenues, the pipeline challenges, and the issues. Now, but you see the overhang of COVID is petering out, and then you have the Russia-Ukraine war still there. And then we are the only country in the world that's producing oil that has not profited from the increase in oil prices. We read in the financial press, I can confirm that Angola had been able to pay off a lot of their loans because of the revenues, additional revenues they made. Our own were taking more debt,
even despite oil prices.
And then the other thing is that how would they fund this budget?
All right.
The local borrowing.
About 7 trillion. International borrowing about 1.8.
Now the person I pity, or the people I pity is Central Bank of Nigeria.
Ah, gosh. Because Ways and Means is still
remember about 20 trillion in Ways and Means.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, where are you going to borrow internationally now?
Exactly. When rates are going up and prices, cost of borrowing is going up in dollars, in foreign exchange.
You get a point now.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Look at assumptions. It's not just to come and carry a document and dub. And then our members of our National Assembly, let them not just constituency projects or things like that. They just take constituency projects and blind you. It just approves, everything approved. Without looking at the budget. How has this budget touched the lives of people?
That's another thing.
You guys, we did a program here the other day about, I think 2 days yesterday about GDP.
Yeah, whether Nigerians are feeling
where are you feeling the GDP?
Yeah.
The GDP growth, how has it affected the price of food in your house and then the houses of citizens? So you said it, the Minister for Finance looks tired. Benakabense, he also is the director of budget. Looked uninterested.
He was typing on his device as he was speaking.
Uninterested. And as I said, it's like the football match are playing for 90 minutes and at 70 minutes you are losing 8-0. You just want to say referee, just end the match. Me, if you tell, I think these people, if you tell them that, they'll
leave the pitch.
She's a tired woman. What else is there in you?
Right.
2022 documents is just like 2023. Deficit will be minimum of 10 trillion for 2022.
All right.
It's going to be a tough year for us.
Tough year. But at least we have you to navigate the people. All right, business analyst Chika Mbonu. Chika, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate your time.